Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. It is 2:02 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menzer. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have Interim County Manager Robin Campbell, as well as Assistant County Manager Rob Gelder and our Clerk of the Board, Jamie Caldwell. We'll start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me in the pledge. And I'm going to let these folks get in here if they want to do the pledge with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Next, Vice Chair Menzer, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to start today with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Okay, next is the approval of the agenda. There were some changes to this morning's agenda. I'll pass it to County Manager Campbell to go through those changes.
Thank you, Commissioner. There was one item added to this afternoon's agenda, and that is item 3B for the sheriff's background check contract.
Thank you. And this is through corrections, correct? For
This would have the sheriff, enable the sheriff to sign the contract. He is intending to specifically focus on vacancies in corrections, but it could also be used for law enforcement.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners in regards to this morning's change?
No questions. I might point out, because I don't see anybody here from the sheriff's office, that the reason for this issue is I believe the sheriff is short 13 officers on the road and 30 officers in the county jail. So we are on a bare minimum staffing level there that really is causing a problem. It's a safety issue for the inmates, which we are legally obligated to take care of properly, and it's a safety issue for the officers that work within the facility. So that was probably the gist of this change being added today. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any item on the agenda that commissioners would like to remove, or are we ready to move forward?
I'm good to go, ma'am.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the amended agenda for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay. Next, we have a presentation from Public Health and Social Services and its Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation.
Yes, and we have Erin Berkland to introduce the topic and our guests today.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Erin Berkland. I'm the Disease Control and Prevention Division Director at Public Health and Social Services. I want to extend my gratitude to the board for taking the time to acknowledge October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Thurston County. This proclamation plays a significant role in promoting breast cancer screening and prevention to the community, as breast cancer annually affects 1 in 8 women in the United States and 2.3 million women worldwide. By raising awareness about breast cancer risk factors, we can educate individuals about the importance of early detection. Today, I'm delighted to introduce Nicole Woosley from the American Cancer Society, along with distinguished guests joining us both virtually and in the boardroom to receive this important proclamation. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here. Awareness is so important. There's so many people being affected and impacted by breast cancer. I want to start off with just reminding anyone who's watching and everyone in this room about screening and the importance of it. We should always know our family's history to the best of our knowledge, always have conversations with our doctors, and we recommend to start talking about screening at the age of 40. I want to read the mission statement of the American Cancer Society. The mission of the American Cancer Society is to improve the lives of people with cancer and their families through advocacy, research, and patient support to ensure everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive cancer. We work to do this through advocating on a state and legislative level to provide free programs for the people in our community to have access to care. They're celebrating the people in our community and showing them that they're not fighting this disease alone, and to remind people about how important screening is so that they can have some control in their life. So I want to start by asking everyone in this room if you've ever been diagnosed with breast cancer or been a caregiver of anyone with breast cancer. If you'll please stand up, raise your hand, or if you're with me, if you'll hold up your sign.
I'm older than the rest of you guys, so.
So as you can see, just right in this room, how many people have been affected by breast cancer alone. And I know everybody in this room knows somebody that has been diagnosed with a different cancer, has been a caregiver, or personally had a different diagnosis. So just want to honor your journey and just share the faces of the people that live in our community that are being impacted. But really, there are stories in this room of the constituents here that I want them to share their story. So I would like to introduce Karen Waddington.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us. In February of 2020, I went in for a routine mammogram. I had felt no lump, I had no symptoms, but there was a lump that was detected through the mammogram. I went in for a lumpectomy, and during the course of my surgery, they discovered that I had an invasive tumor that was right in the middle of the mass. I had 7 months of chemo, and at the end of that, I had a double mastectomy. And I am very proud to say that in just a few weeks, I will be 3 years cancer-free. Screening and early detection is what saved my life. And through programs that the American Cancer Society promotes, as well as 180 grants that they fund towards the mission to end breast cancer, the American Cancer Society is working every single day, as are we as volunteers, to end breast cancer and end cancer as we know it. So thank you very much for having me.
I would like to introduce my great friend and caregiver, Amanda Hanks.
Hello, thank you for having us. In 2012, my mom sat myself and my siblings down and told us that she had cancer, and it was breast cancer, stage 4, and it was had metastasized. I was 18 at the time, freshly out of high school, and had no idea what it meant to be looking at a cancer diagnosis for my mom. Through that time, I've learned not only what a cancer diagnosis for my mom looks like, but what it looks like to be a caregiver. I am one of my mom's caregivers. I every day check in with her. I make sure that she's doing good. Through COVID, I had to do all of her errands. I did shopping for her after she had a mastectomy and her clothing no longer fit correctly. And every day, I just like to talk about how important it is to also honor our caregivers that are taking care of people that are going through breast cancer.
So these are some of the faces of people that live right here in Thurston County. And I just wanted you to hear their stories about how it impacts, but also how screenings save lives. And we're so grateful that our county makes it a priority to talk about breast cancer awareness each year, and that you're dedicated and fighting back with us. So thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you. Okay. Anything commissioners would like to add at this time? Are we ready for a proclamation?
Well, Nicole made me cry up here one time talking about my daughter. So I'm not gonna talk about her, but thank you, Nicole, for this. And I would just like everybody to know that I don't think I know anybody that hasn't been affected in some fashion or another through this terrible disease. So thank you for all you do, and congratulations for you folks that have been through it and survived, but congratulations for bringing awareness and all your hard work. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. It's super important. Everyone's been touched, breast cancer and associated. I just went through with my mom in lymphoma. She went through but early detection has been successful so far. And she's in Vancouver, so I've traipsed a lot of miles on the I-5 back and forth trying to help. But as you say, we can do a lot of good by just raising awareness and getting people screened and getting people dialed into the public health advice that will help folks survive. And so thank you for helping us do that. We can't, it's one thing for the commissioners to read a piece of paper, but to have you sharing stories, that's what makes the difference. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here and for sharing those stories. Congratulations on 3 years. That is very exciting. And yeah, I don't think there's anyone here who hasn't been touched in one way or another by, this awful disease. And prevention is so important. And now that I have 2 little girls, right, I am even more conscious about collecting my own family history and making sure, knowing that it's ran in my family and being like, okay, well, connecting those dots. So just thank you for sharing that awareness and for educating on how important it is to have those preemptive exams and yearly mammograms that come forth. They can really help. I'm ready for a proclamation, sir, if you are.
Smaller font than usual, so I'm gonna go with the, make sure I get it right. Thurston County Proclamation, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas the month of October has been nationally designated Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer among Thurston County women, with 289 new cases diagnosed each year. And whereas men also get breast cancer, and the rate of newly diagnosed cases is higher for Thurston County men compared to Washington State men. And whereas cancer is experienced differently among people of color, and in Thurston County, Native American women, followed by Hispanic women, are at the highest risk for breast cancer. And whereas cancer is the leading cause of death for Thurston County residents, and breast cancer takes the lives of 40 Thurston County women and men each year. And whereas there are ways to lower your risk of breast cancer, which includes staying at a healthy weight, engaging in physical activity several times per week, and limiting or avoiding alcohol. And whereas having regular mammograms can help find breast cancer at an early stage when treatment is most successful, and 79% of Thurston County women aged 50 to 74 reported having a mammogram in the past 2 years. And whereas every year too many people are touched by the pain and hardship caused by breast cancer, and the Thurston County Board of Health supports these individuals and their families and commits to continue working toward a future free from cancer in all its forms. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Thurston County. To honor those who have lost their lives to breast cancer, recognize the courageous women and men who are living with this disease, and rejoice with those who are breast cancer survivors. The board encourages community members, other government agencies, private businesses, nonprofit organizations, and all other interested groups to join in activities that will increase awareness of breast cancer and advocate for comprehensive cancer care close to home, adopted this 10th day of October 2023 by the Board of County Commissioners.
Sorry.
Hit them all. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right.
We're doing 3 phones.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that will conclude our presentation for today. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate. Do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you for your cooperation. I will go through the people who are in the boardroom who have signed up in the sign-up sheet. If you didn't get a chance to sign up, I will give you that opportunity, and then we will move on to Zoom. And the county manager will assist me in calling the names of those joining us via Zoom. First person is Rob Kirkwood.
I'm Rob Kirkwood. I'm here with my wife Valerie. We own property at 4424 65th Avenue Northeast. We live in the city of Olympia. I've prepared what I thought was a 3-minute, well, actually a 6-minute spiel here. I'm going to throw that aside and make it quick and short. Basically, we've owned this property for 30 years. We paid property tax on it for 30 years. The county has consistently picked away at our property by first downzoning our property, then shoreline buffers, and then increased shoreline buffers, basically rendering the property valueless. It's the way the property's shaped, the shoreline buffers as it's set up removes any sort of view. We've consistently been taking care of this property. I still pull ivy off this property. It's a treed property. And basically, we feel ripped off. When the shoreline management came out and on the May 16th meeting, it talked about a 125-foot buffer, which would be reduced from the 250-foot current buffer. And I actually thought that was overly generous, but I was happy to see that. I thought I could live with that. I mean, I thought it was probably too small, but I could live with that, or we could live with that. And then I listened to the video of your meeting on July 29th, and you talk about being fair, and you talk about the lakefront buffers, and you talk about trying to be fair to people, how expensive variances cost, how expensive it is to go hear a public hearing, and to be fair, and you basically left the lakefront buffer as it is. So then I wrote to, I'm sorry, your staff member that's running the program, Andrew. And I said, hey, what's the schedule? This is great news. And he goes, let's see, we're hoping to send it to the Department of Ecology by the first of the year. And by the way, the buffer's at 250 feet. So I listened to the July 29th meeting, and for the first hour and 50 minutes, you talk about being fair, how impactful it is to the property owners to go through these processes. And then in the last 3 minutes, you vote 2-1 to make our buffer the 250 feet as it is. Ironically, the maps that you have online only show it at 200 feet. So I drew up a new map here to show you what the 250 feet does. It's just for the rural conservancy shoreline. And on top of that, I also watched the meeting from August 30th. You talked about the Eld Inlet issues. You had the 4 examples that were problems. And you were all surprised to find out that the Nature Conservancy has houses in it. Well, the Nature Conservancy at 65th has, I think, 5 houses inside the Nature Conservancy plus a road. So if you look at the rest of Johnson Point, this area above us is urban or rural residential or something like that, where it's a minimalized setback. And from there, so these people all get to keep their grass, they keep powdering their roses, they keep doing whatever they want to do, and we can't even cut down a tree on our property. So it seems like we are basically being penalized for not cutting down our trees 30 years ago.
Thank you, sir.
Could I ask a question?
Go ahead, sir.
Rob, would you just point to your property that you're referring to?
Our property is right here.
Okay, just so we, thank you.
Thank you. Next is John Pettit.
There you go. Good afternoon. My name is John Pettit. I live on Rich Road, southeast, a place called Deschutes River Ranch. Today I'm here to declare to you, none of you are elected leaders for Thurston County. I say this because I think you need to know you were elected as servants of the people. As servants of the people, you're failing your duties. I'll give you some examples. 1, you failed to provide adequate public safety with a budget for sheriff deputies on the road. Thurston County is at the bottom of the barrel compared to virtually every other county statewide. 2, you failed to maintain our county roads by shifting and diverting road taxes to other uses. Roads need regular maintenance. I think the numbers that I had seen recently over time is you take care of between 10 and 30 miles a year worth of maintenance on roads. For 1,000 miles of roads, the Public Works Director told us we need to do 100 miles. But you're shifting out about $3.5 to $4 million a year out of our road taxes for us who live in the county that need our roads to be good. That's not right. That's not serving the people. You have failed to maintain our courthouse in good repair, causing waste to county assets. The money was collected from internal fees from offices and departments located, but just disappears under your management. Number 4, you have failed to issue permits and approvals for building and land use being paid in advance. The latest count in a backlog done by a study which you had done over the last 2.5 years, 4,510 backlogged permits and applications. You need to pay back the applicants for services never provided or earned by the county. The estimate's approximately $4.7 million in the private sector. That would be theft, to take money and not provide a product. I actually think you need to step up and give this money back. If you aren't going to produce the product, timely basis, give them the money back, let them pay the fee when they actually receive something. Number 5, you pretend to be budgeting for the next 2 years, but you don't even have union contracts agreed by the majority of employees. How do you budget without knowing the single largest cost that'll be happening over the next couple of years? None of you have a clue about budgeting. So you become what many will refer to as useful idiots to the county managers to approve the budget. You serve the managers, not the people. I bring all this to your attention because, quite honestly, going back to the permits, a very short example, if you had a line of people, each one with one of the permits or applications in their line, and you lined it up 3 feet apart between each one, you'd be over 2.5 miles of line. Is that acceptable? If it's not acceptable, then why aren't you fixing it? It is totally out of control. I just want you to understand, you're servants of the people. You're not leaders. You're not over the top of us. Thank you.
Next is Frank Hicks.
Commissioners, thank you for having me come before you. My name's Frank Hicks. I live at 13412 Sunset Heights Road in Tenino. As I was here previous, I brought up the fact that the honor roll, the Veterans Memorial that you sent money for to Tenino when they did their retaining wall is not complete. So today I brought in pictures to show you what's not complete about the memorial. Photo number 1 shows you the conduit that was laid for the lighting for the lights, which is still not there. Photo number 2 shows you the handrail that's not there to be ADA compliant with the steps. You also saw in that picture that there's no flag waving over the memorial. Number 3 shows you the path where the wheelchair ramp is supposed to come from the quarry house down to the memorial. The city put in an information sign, but that path is still not there. And then the last photo shows you the monument and the words, "Lest we forget." As we come close to Veterans Day, I just emphasize, lest we forget. The other issue I'd like to bring forward is that the steps going from the path from Park Avenue up to the museum also has no handrail. And I was contacted the Parks Department several months ago about the issue. They said they were going to look into it. I've made, thank you, made 2 other phone calls and they have not been returned. I would just, the reason I'm here today is I just got a report that about 2 weeks ago, a Vietnam veteran was walking up the steps and fell. Luckily, he was not injured. So I'm asking that you look at also making those steps ADA compliant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Trudy Burnham.
Hello, Trudy Burnham, 8330 McIntosh Street, Southeast Tenino, and I represent the auxiliary VFW. I just have a quick comment about, we aren't sure why things aren't finished and where the money go that should have finished the project. We can't get the mayor to talk to us. So we're just keep coming back here, feeding you a little bit more and a little bit more, hoping that you will help this get arranged since the money came from the county to help us. And doesn't anyone audit, or I don't know how it works. I'm not into all that, but somewhere there's money laying to finish this job.
Thank you. Okay, next is Stuart Reed.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Stuart Reed. I live at 1818 Evergreen Park Drive, Southwest in Olympia. I'm a 7-year county employee, 6 of those with AFS CME, Council 2, Local 618 CO. Just want to comment on the budget situation today and with regard to the contract piece of that. So it's been 4 months now since the June 13th meeting when a bunch of us union members came and spoke with you guys at the board to tell you our stories and ask for a living wage. And, you know, we've just had a bunch of silence since then, you know, and so I'm just here to remind you that a lot of us are watching and waiting on that. You know, there's a dual crisis in Thurston County right now with inflation and housing. HUD projects housing in the Olympia area rents are going to go up an average of about 24% next year, according to the federal HUD department. You know, but we're not asking you to solve inflation and housing, right? We know you can't do that. All we're asking for is a modest and fair cost of living adjustment to our contracts and the back pay that you owe us for this year. It sounds, from what I understand, I'm just a member. I'm just speaking for myself personally right now on my own time. But it sounds like both sides are optimistic. You know, there's some amount of progress, a light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope that that's true. But it seems like there's still a couple things holding up the deal. I don't know what the details are, but it sounds like, you know, there's a couple of pieces holding it up that the management side is trying to take away from a couple specific parts of the union that are not acceptable to the union. And anyway, again, I don't know the details. I would just urge you to take the union's deal and get this done. There's only 82 days left, and don't risk catastrophe by delaying. As to the budget in general, I've been watching the budget hearings the past couple weeks. So, you know, I know the difficult situation, and I've heard, you know, from all the different departments as you have. And one thing we've heard from each department is that layoffs would cause major problems both for Thurston County on the government side and for the people that we serve. From the assessor's office, we heard you might lose customer service, new construction inspections, appraisers like me, and make it difficult to process senior exemptions in a timely manner. From courts, you'd lose probation services. From district court, diversion programs, jail alternatives, you know, on and on. These, you know, we at Thurston County are already at lean staffing. In many cases, we still haven't recovered from Great Recession layoffs. And my message is this: find the budget cuts, find budget savings in ways other than layoffs as much as possible. We're in a cost of living emergency in Thurston County. Everyone's struggling to pay the bills. And, you know, we just, draw from the rainy day funds because this is a rainy day. Go to the voters for funding like you are doing with law enforcement if you need to. You know, I know the budgets are limited to 1% a year, and that limits you. So, you know, maybe go to the voters and say, if there's a no vote, then that means we're gonna have to cut services that you rely on. Maybe the county has assets to sell, I don't know. But I just urge you to have a greater sense of urgency on resolving these issues. We're counting on you, and time is running out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Justin Russell.
Hi, my name is Justin. I live at 68th and Johnson Point. I don't particularly like public speaking, so this is a rarity for me. I'm going to piggyback on a couple issues that have been brought up. We have Thurston, a little bit of background. I do septic designs. I won't represent my company. And trying to get anything through Thurston County planning is a joke. With trying to contact a planner, when you make a phone call because they aren't in office, they work from home mostly, is a joke. You can email them and hope they email you back. The time it's taking to get any permits pushed through because of this, because of working from home, not answering, picking and choosing what they want, and not going in order of application is taking a long time. We have a client whose paperwork got dropped on somebody's desk and it waited a year to get processed because nobody knew where the file was. This is unacceptable. We don't need more planners. We need the planners here doing their job. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the boardroom? Okay, move on to Zoom.
So on Zoom, I will call out your name, and if you would like to give testimony, please unmute and address the board. First, we have Chris Lester.
No comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Ashley? Don't have a last name for Ashley. And everyone else on the screen are county staff. But if any staff are here to provide testimony, please unmute. So I think that's all.
Thank you. Okay, next is county manager's update.
I have no report at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for the county manager?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. That will move on to consent agenda. There are 2 items on the agenda. Is there an item commissioners would like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve consent items 3A and 3B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Rivers?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Next is department items. From the Commissioner's Office, item 4A is a resolution amending the appointment process to the Racial Equity Council. And D.V. Ogden, the Racial Equity Program Manager, will report on this item.
Hello, good afternoon. So this item is to amend resolution 16097, which there's a provision in the previous resolution that established a community stakeholder group to review applications for membership on the Racial Equity Council. The amendment that you have in front of you removes that provision and allows the council members to review applications and provide recommendations to you all for appointment to the council.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Mensah?
No.
Okay. No questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a resolution that amends the appointment and removal process of the members for the Racial Equity Council, allowing existing council members to review applications and provide appointment recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to emergency services, item 5A is the sole source contract to purchase Motorola radios for new Thurston County medic units, and Ben Miller-Todd, our emergency services director, will present this item. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ben Miller-Todd, Emergency Services Director. Medic One is seeking authorization to procure portable and mobile radios to outfit 5 2024 medic units with equipment that is compatible with the new TCOM digital radio system. This radio replacement is required for interoperability with the 911 dispatching center in Thurston County and supports responder safety and our paramedic workforce as a result of more consistent and reliable emergent communications across the county. The radios are to be procured through a sole source contract with Motorola, leveraging TCOM negotiated pricing as a result of the radio replacement process. Sole source was determined to be the only option available due to requirements of both TCOM 911 and Motorola. Medic One anticipated this purchase for 2023 and budget appropriation for these radios is in the 2023 budget, a budget that was supported by the EMS Council unanimously. With that, Medic One is requesting approval to execute a sole source contract with Motorola in the amount of $125,545.40 to purchase 5 mobile radios, 10 portable radios, and associated equipment for the 5 medic units, and to authorize Emergency Services Director to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%. Thank you for your consideration of this request.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No.
No questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve a sole source contract with Motorola in the amount of $125,546.40 to purchase 5 mobile radios, 10 portable radios, and associated equipment for 5 medic units, and authorize the Emergency Services Director to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
I guess I'd just like to point out to the public that sometimes I've been asked, how come you guys don't talk about that when you're voting on it? And mainly because we've talked about it many times in work sessions that led up to this point. So I just want to let the public know that. So thank you, Ben, for bringing that up.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, thank you, Ben. Item 6A, Public Health and Social Services, Treatment Sales Tax Community Grant Request for Proposals. And Shaylin Sowers, our data analyst, will present this item. Go ahead.
Hello, Commissioners. Shaylin Sowers, Public Health and Social Services Treatment Sales Tax Program Manager. This item is requesting the board's approval to release the 2023 Treatment Sales Tax Community Grant Request for Proposals, RFP. The 2024-2025 biennial budget recommended by the TST Advisory Committee includes $800,000 per year in community grant funding. Every 1 to 2 years, Thurston County Public Health and Social Services issues a community grant RFP for TST funding. And as you know, a portion of this funding is allocated to county offices and departments through the biennial budget process. This RFP is designed to invite proposals from the community for TST projects. And as you know, this funding amount may be subject to change. With the board's approval, this RFP would be issued on October 11th and publicized via stakeholder lists, including Indian tribes located within Thurston County and social media. All eligible proposals will be welcome, and the proposals will be due on November 1st. A review panel of subject matter experts, including the TST Advisory Committee, will review and score all applications in November. The panel's recommendations will then be to the board for final review and decisions on the proposals, and the contract start date would be January 1st, 2024. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Actually, no questions, but the same thing applies. We've been over this many times. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Mensah? I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to approve the 2023 request for proposals for Thurston County Public Health and Social Services to receive applications related to treatment sales tax community grants.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, item 6B is amendment number 16 to the Washington State Department of Health, 2022 through 2024 consolidated contract number CLH 31030. And David Bain, our Public Health and Social Services Director, will present this item.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Asking for the board to approve amendment number 16 to the Washington Department of Health consolidated contract number CLH 31030, which will add an additional $2,881,595 for the duration of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, and authorize the director or an appointed representative to sign the amendment.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, sir. Glad to have it coming in.
Okay, questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No questions.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to approve amendment number 16 to the State of Washington Department of Health Consolidated Contract CLH 31030, providing an additional $2,881,595 for a revised maximum consideration of $19,399,854 for the duration of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, and authorize the director or appointed representative of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Public Works, item 7A, interagency agreement with Department of Enterprise Services for general training. And Dawn Ashton, Procurement and Contract Specialist 2, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We move to approve the interagency agreement with Department of Enterprise Services for general training. This would be for all Thurston County employees. It's intended for group training and to achieve discount and efficiencies in ordering courses for leadership training and meeting proficiencies. There is no set minimum of training courses that needs to be ordered or expenditure limits.
Thank you. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the interagency agreement with Department of Enterprise Services, DS, for general training.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Item 7B is request for proposal for a solid waste moderate risk waste transportation and disposition management services contract. And Jeff Bickford, our solid waste manager, is here to present this item. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jeff Bickford, Solid Waste Manager in Public Works. A little background on this. Hassel House is our only facility of its kind here in Thurston County, and it provides residents and local businesses a safe and reliable disposal option for moderate risk waste. Annually, approximately 25,000 customers use this facility, dropping off upwards of 100 tons of waste each year. The facility is staffed and operated by Thurston County employees and regulated under a solid waste handling permit by the Thurston County Public Health and Social Services Department. At this facility, county staff accepts moderate risk waste from customers and are trained to safely manage and prepare the material for transport. In reviewing our contracts and procurement here in Public Works, the transportation and disposition management of moderate risk waste from the Hassel House has been identified as a service that requires a contract update and should be put forward for a competitive process. The RFP process allows for competition and evaluation of multiple contractors' proposals and is most likely to result in a contract that meets the operational needs and delivers the greatest value to the public. The proposed RFP would be for looking for a contract that basically a one-year contract with 4 one-year renewal options. The estimated cost for the overall five-year term would be $1.5 million. The Solid Waste Division is requesting that the Board of County Commissioners approve issuance of a request for proposals for moderate risk waste transportation and disposition management services. And I'm willing to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
And the fund that this is gonna come out of, Jeff?
And this would all be from tipping fees from our solid waste facilities, correct? The Solid Waste Fund.
Thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay. No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to authorize the Public Works Director, should that say, to issue a request for proposal for moderate risk waste transportation and disposition management of the county's moderate risk waste collected at Hazo House.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, item 7C, Friar Cove Park Aquatic Lands Lease Renewal, and Ed Marson, Parks and Trails Maintenance and Operations Manager, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's Ed Marson, Parks and Trails Maintenance and Operations Manager. The existing Fry Cove Aquatic Lands lease between Thurston County and the Washington State Department of Natural Resources expired on August 15th, 2023 after a 50-year term. Renewal of this lease provides park users with legal access from the Fry Cove Park property to the adjacent tidelands of the western shores of Elt Inlet. Park users have historically utilized these tidelands for recreational activities, including, but not limited to, seasonal shellfish harvesting, plant and wildlife identification, swimming, and nature walks. Per the terms of the lease, Thurston County agrees to provide maintenance on the property, which historically has been minimal. The term of this lease is for 12 years, beginning on the 15th day of August 2023 and ending on the 14th day of August 2035, and carries a lease rate of $0 for the duration. We are recommending to move to approve the Fry Cove Park Aquatic Lands lease renewal, DNR lease number 20-A10182 between Thurston County and the Washington State Department of Natural Resources, and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the lease. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, but when we're done with this action, I see there's another park thing coming up on G. Could you hang around for just a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No questions.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the Fry Cove Park Aquatic Lands lease renewal, DNR lease number 20A10182, between Thurston County and the Washington State Department of Natural Resources, and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the lease.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay. All of page 4 is Public Works. Public Works came on strong today. 7D is contract award for step tank pumping services, and Joe Plahuta, our Senior Water Resources Engineer, is here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Joe Plahuta here, Senior Water Resource Engineer with Public Works. Public Works is requesting that the board approve award of the contract for step tank pumping, transport, and disposal services to A Advanced Services. To provide some background on this, the Public Works Water Resource Division owns and operates approximately 250 septic tank effluent or step tanks in the Boston Harbor and Olympic View communities as part of our sewer collection system. Public Works is responsible for pumping these tanks to ensure proper operation, and tanks are pumped on a rotating schedule consisting of approximately 60 tanks annually. In addition, periodic unscheduled pumping is also required. Public Works also owns and operates sewer collection and treatment systems in the Grand Mound and Tamashan communities. These systems contain gravity sewer, pressure sewer, and vacuum sewer components that do occasionally require pumping services as well. Public Works has need for these pumping services on an ongoing basis. An award of this contract will allow the county to continue to meet its operational needs and deliver the greatest value to the rate-paying public. On September 7th, 2023, one proposal was received from A Advanced Septic Services in response to an RFP issued by the county. Public Works evaluated and scored this proposal, and based on the contractor's qualifications, prior experience, past performance and references, technical approach, sustainability, and reasonable rates. So award of this contract to A Advanced Septic Services will allow for continued step tank pumping services with rates guaranteed by contract. The term of the contract will be for up to 5 years, consisting of a 1-year base period and 4 1-year renewal options. The maximum ceiling amount of this contract will be $350,000 with opportunities for increases in future option years if necessary. Funds will be obligated upon issuance of work orders and funded through utility rate revenue. This action is consistent with the county strategic plan and aligned with Initiative 8, support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. With that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah? No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to award the contract for septic tank effluent pump, tank pumping, transport, and disposal to A Advanced Septic Services, Inc. of Auburn, Washington for the amount of $350,000, and authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, up to 10% of the contract, $35,000, or a total of $385,000.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
And this is for a 5-year contract, is that right, Joe?
Correct, Commissioner. Yes, up to 5 years. So initially it'll just be a one base year contract, and then each year we'll have an opportunity to renew that.
Okay, I guess I just want to clarify something then. Is that 350 for the 5 years, or it is?
Yes.
Yes.
The 350,000 is for the 5 years, and to put this into perspective, our regular pumping cost on an annual basis is typically under $50,000.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Mensah? No questions for me. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, item 7E, resolution for temporary closure of a portion of Grand Mound Loop southwest from the intersection with Old Highway 99 to 200 feet west of this intersection. Handing it right back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Public Works is requesting that the board approve a temporary closure of a portion of Grand Mound Loop southwest from the intersection of Old Highway 99 to 200 feet west of this intersection. The purpose of this closure is to provide a construction staging area for road work associated with the Old Highway 99 manhole repair project occurring in the southbound lane of Old Highway 99. Temporary closure of this segment of road is the safest, least expensive, and least impactful option to successfully complete the project. Temporary closure would be in effect for one 30 calendar day period between October 23, 2023 to March 30, 2024. Dependent upon the contractor's construction schedule, and the exact dates of that closure will be coordinated with the county engineer. The closure will allow the contractor to have full access to the closed section of roadway for staging equipment and materials associated with the contract. The temporary closure will not impact access to any private properties. Grand Mound Loop has an average daily traffic count of 13 vehicles daily. A detour route will not be required. However, appropriate signage will be used to notify the traveling public of this closure. A communications plan has also been developed to notify stakeholders, such as local residents, emergency responders, and nearby businesses of the closure. The closure will also be published in the Olympian in conformance with state law. So this action, it's consistent with the county strategic plan, Initiative 1 to improve community health, wellness, and safety, and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. With that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution authorizing the county engineer to temporarily close a portion of Grand Mound Loop Southwest from the intersection of Old Highway 99 to 200 feet west of this intersection for up to 30 consecutive calendar days during the time period of October 23rd, 2023 through March 30th, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, item F is resolution adopting revision 4 of a Public Works Policy POL-831 preserving survey monuments. And Matt Unselman, our county engineer, will present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I didn't bring a monument to show and tell this afternoon because you guys saw it this morning. State law requires that the Board of County Commissioners adopt a policy regarding the preservation, maintenance, and restoration of survey monuments within the county right-of-way. Public Works has prepared an updated policy and procedure that includes additional required language regarding training and outreach to public and private surveyors regarding monument preservation. Survey monuments indicate the location of land boundary corners, control points, and other bases for any licensed map survey.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
It's an interesting name for this little gadget, but I never thought of a monument as that being something like that. Thanks for showing it to us.
I'm glad we got an opportunity to show you what a monument is. Not every county engineer gets that opportunity.
No other questions.
No questions for me. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution adopting revision 4 of Public Works Policy POL-831 regarding preservation of survey monuments within county right-of-way.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Item G is resolution to apply for a grant from the Recreation and Conservation Office for local parks maintenance. And Shannon Shula, our strategic planner, is here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Shannon Shula, Strategic Planner of Public Works. This afternoon, we have the Washington State Legislature provided a one-time funding opportunity of $5 million to help local parks departments maintain their working facilities to meet the needs of their residents. The local park maintenance grant program will focus on helping communities in need address maintenance backlogs for key local park facilities and capital improvements. The program is administered by the Recreation and Conservation Office and will award grants between the amounts of $35,000 to $100,000 per organization. If awarded, the applicant must complete the projects and use all funds by June 30th, 2025. The Parks and Trails program will utilize the LPM grants for projects in 2 focus areas: develop parks and multi-use trails. These projects were identified as part of a Trails Asset and Condition Study completed for Public Works as part of the Trails Preservation Program. Staff was able to extend this assessment to develop parks infrastructure and assets. As a result, 2 project areas for deferred maintenance that best meet the grant criteria were scoped. The first project will repair and replace existing deteriorating wooden park benches and picnic tables at 3 developed park locations: Kennydale, Burfoot, and Fry Cove Parks. Alternatives for low maintenance and long-lasting materials will be considered for this project. In addition, upgrading to ADA compliant picnic benches will be completed where applicable. The second project will focus on maintenance along two trail corridors, the Shayless Western Trail and the Elm Rainier Tenino Trail. The work will consist of repair and replacement of damaged and or deteriorating bollards, directional signs, picnic tables, and benches located along the trail corridors. Public Works is requesting approval from the Board of County Commissioners to apply for the $100,000 local parks maintenance grant. The RCO requires this resolution for all applicants. This grant will support the upkeep of county-owned parks and trail systems for all community residents and visitors to connect and enjoy. These improvements are in alignment with the county's Strategic Plan Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative 9 to support environmental health and climate stabilization. I'm happy to address any questions if you have any.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, Shannon, have you got the verbiage already put together for that grant application to be submitted?
Yeah, the deadline for that was at the end of the month of last month. So we have already compiled all the data and submitted the application. We have an additional 30 days to complete the resolution to submit and finalize the grant application.
Okay, it sounds like we had maybe a piece of that ADA requirement, sounds like down at Tenino maybe that we could talk about, but we'll talk about that later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the beauty of this grant is that it's to address long-term maintenance, and so we are not necessarily tied to all of the specifics. It's just we had to kind of outline a budget and like what we were going to address. So there's like, we can kind of address those needs as needed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No, excited to hopefully receive this grant.
Thank you. Did you have any additional?
Well, I
You had
guess
asked Ed.
what I'm thinking about is from the board, we've heard about this Tenino issue quite a bit, and it sounds like there could be some funding here maybe to deal with this, because I don't know where the funding's at. So I'll talk to Ed a little bit here after our meeting and see if, because it sounds like Shannon's got, this is pretty generic, and maybe we've got some opportunities here. That's all I'm wondering if the board might be interested in that, so thanks. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the resolution to apply for a local parks maintenance grant administered by Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office in the amount of $100,000 to provide funding to address maintenance backlogs for key county parks and trails facilities.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Aye. Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our standing items. Item 8A, Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates and actions taken, as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards, we'll start with you, sir.
The assistant county manager kept us so darn busy this past week that we didn't get to attend hardly any meetings because we were all in many budget briefing situations. So I actually missed a couple of the meetings I would normally attend because of that. So but I do not think they had any real priority issues to bring before the board. But besides the budget issue, zoning with constituents and code compliance, right-of-way issues, boundary line adjustments, building permits, it was all part of a very busy week. That's my report, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
Thank you. Yeah, I concur with Commissioner Edwards. It was lighter from an outside perspective because we were so busy internally working through the budget presentations. But I did make it to one event, 3 outside meetings, and a whole bunch of issues with constituents. The event was the fundraiser for the 9207 Scout Troop, and the reason that they're related to us is that they're the supporting troop for the American Legion Post 94 and the annual dinner that the board always attends and speaks at. So I attended that with my daughter. I went to 3 meetings above and beyond assigned meetings. One is the Innovative Justice meeting this morning. One was a State Building Code Council special meeting on Monday, and then the Sentencing Guideline Commission Subcommittee meeting last week. So those were the meetings. And then constituent issues that I was working on included shoreline master plan, salmon recovery issues, and railroad quiet zones.
Thank you. I guess ditto. For me, I guess I'll report the only outside committee meeting I attended, intercity transit. We've received an invitation to attend a meet and greet with 3 of their potential applicants for general manager. They received a total of like 95 applications, which I thought was pretty exciting to receive that. When we talk about the market and how difficult it is, and for them to receive that many applications was pretty exciting. So that's the big thing to report there. And then today I attended the Martin Way Phase 2 groundbreaking ceremony and gave a few words just on behalf of Thurston County and what we did to help fund that project. Okay. Next, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of October 10th, 2023.
Thank you, Commissioner. This afternoon at 4:30, you will hold the Board of Health meeting here in this room. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, commissioners will attend the Nisqually groundbreaking ceremony. That will be held at 3663 Pacific Avenue Southeast here in Olympia. Then at 1:30 tomorrow, you have more budget presentations. We'll continue on Thursday at 9 a.m. with budget, pretty much for all day on Thursday. And budget continues on Friday, October 13th, again from 9 a.m. to 4:15. On Saturday, there is an item on your shared calendar, just in case 2 of you choose to attend, the 4th annual Thurston County Heritage Day that will be held at the Thurston County Fairgrounds. Next Monday, October 16th, at 9 a.m. you have a shoreline master plan update briefing. At 11, you will have the Planning Commission follow-up. I'm going to rephrase this. So you'll have a briefing on the Lacey Joint Plan that will be about what the Planning Commission discussed and heard at their public hearing. At noon on Monday, there is the permitting cost and comparison of services study briefing follow-up. And at 6 p.m. Monday, we have the Salary Commission meeting here at the atrium in room 224 or by phone, should 2 or more members choose to attend. And then next Tuesday, we are back at 9:15 with agenda setting and your meeting next Tuesday afternoon. I would also add that on Thursday, October 19th, in addition to other meetings on your calendar, there is an executive scheduled at 10:30 a.m. for an update on the collective bargaining agreements from our labor negotiator.
Questions? No.
No, I think I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, it is 3:17. We do have a Board of Health meeting at 4:30 p.m. if you would like to join us for that. We are adjourned. Thank you.